our Family Feud this morning at 8 on Fox 14.
You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14.
Right now it's 7. Many hands make light work. This same rings true for our Toy Box Drive. It would not be as successful as it is without the help from others in our community. Our very own Ty Park spent some time with one of our partners to share how they do what they can to serve their community.
Plus, the Joplin Regional Community Foundation announces their donation numbers for several nonprofits. We'll have those details on the numbers.
And we've got a mostly cloudy start to the day today. Temperatures, they're chilly now, but we're going to be well above average a little later today. We'll take a look at that forecast, get you out the door coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. I'm Caitlin O'Shaughnessy.
I'm Chris Warner. It is just at, oh my gosh, we didn't hit 7 o'clock in 40 seconds.
Look at that, Chris.
It's 7:01. We're a little late this morning. I'm Chris Warner. It is 7:01 and some seconds this morning, and it is a bit chilly out there. Kind of feels like December, but it won't for very long. It's going to warm back up.
Oh, it's a December to remember for sure, Chris.
What? What is going on?
Bishop and Hayes is one of our many Toy Box sponsors. Earlier yesterday, they answered the phones for our telethon.
They did, and they recently went shopping with your donations to help buy some toys for kids in need. We sent photojournalist Ty Parks along for the ride.
We really love the KOAM Toy Box because we love to support our local community, and this is an activity that does just that. The toys and the things that are bought for the kids stay right here in the local area, and that's something that means a lot to us and something we want to support. I think giving back is an important part of being a community. In the community, we need to take care of one another. That's why it's important for us to be involved in something like KOAM Toy Box, which benefits the local community. I mean, there's a lot of great ministries and charities across the nation, but what we want to do is focus on ones that take care of people right here in the 4 states.
All right, well, we had a great time at yesterday's telethon. Thank you so much for everyone that called and donated. A lot of kids' Christmases are going to be very good now, thanks to your donations. All
these toys we've got here are going to be moving out this morning and getting distributed to those organizations that will help those families in need. And seriously, we can't thank you, the viewers, enough for your support. 35 years of support for this program.
It's incredible. I mean, people come out for it, and it makes such a difference.
And
it
despite
really does.
economic times, the 4 states always pulls together for this program. We really, truly want to thank all of you for your support again this year. Looking forward to doing it again next year, and I hope you're looking forward to warm weather because it's going to be sticking around for a while. Quick look outside. Our camera on top of the Cornell Complex in downtown Joplin. That's mostly cloudy skies, so you see some peaks of some sun out there, or at least some daylight, but more clouds than that. And from the MoDOT camera, 32nd and Range line, cars really starting to add up on the roadways. Folks get their workday underway. It is chilly this morning. We're just a little above average. Some of us about where we should be this morning. 32 in Joplin, 31 in Pittsburgh. As we get the day started, we are looking at mostly cloudy skies throughout the day, but there could be brief periods where you almost get a completely clear sky before another wave of clouds will roll on in. And despite clouds across the area, temperatures climbing upper 50s, even some low 60s possible out there for some of us. So definitely above average. Keep in mind our average highs are in the upper 40s. Not near that today or tomorrow or the next day. And it stays warm heading into next week as well. We have those rain chances coming in as we head into this weekend. We'll take a look at your full forecast here in just a few more minutes. Kayla.
Thank you, Chris. Authorities arrest a man in connection with a shooting incident at a Pittsburgh bar back in August. Around 3 yesterday afternoon, U.S. Marshals arrested 33-year-old Jamon Allen in Pine Bluff, Arkansas. He was wanted on a felony warrant for first-degree murder in connection with the August 20th shooting death of Justin Krogan. It happened outside Jimmy B's Saloon at 202 Locust in Pittsburgh. Officers arrived on scene to find Krogan, who had been shot. Krogan later died from his injuries. An Afton, Oklahoma man pleads guilty to voluntary manslaughter in the death of an infant. Yesterday in federal court, Samson Fry pleaded guilty in connection to the shaking death of his infant son more than 5 years ago. Fry admitted to shaking and dropping his infant son, who fell to the ground in November of 2018. The child later died at the hospital. Authorities dismissed 2 other counts against Fry: first-degree felony murder in Indian Country and child neglect in Indian Country. A former Missouri state lawmaker is running for lieutenant governor of the Show Me State, and he made the announcement in Joplin. Dr. Bob Onder served in the Missouri State House for 2 years, then later served in the state Senate from 2015 to this year. He says if elected, he'll promote conservative values.
Fight to protect innocent human life, to give women the opportunity to choose life for their unborn children, to protect Second Amendment rights, to improve Missouri education so parents can choose the educational option that's best for their kids, so the kids can learn reading and writing and arithmetic in America's true history, not woke ideology.
Onder will compete with former Missouri House Leader Dean Plocher, State Senator Holly Redder, Franklin County Clerk Tim Baker, and St. Louis businessman Paul Berry III for the Republican nomination. The Joplin Fire Department yesterday trained on some new equipment. The JFD trained on new low-pressure, high-volume fire hose technology. This new technology will allow the JFD to put more water readily on a fire and rescue fatigue on the equipment and firefighters. The JFD training chief says the training will make using the new technology easier to use when the time comes.
The intent on the training, because we want to be absolutely completely proficient with all of our equipment at all times, so when we respond to that call for assistance or for a structure fire or something like that, we are well versed. We know the limitations and capabilities of our equipment, and we can use it to be most advantageous to mitigate whatever emergency.
The Joplin Fire Department looks to have the new technology on the trucks by early spring. The Joplin Regional Community Foundation announced some big donation numbers for a number of nonprofits. The foundation announced a total of $25,000 in grants to 14 nonprofits through its latest community grant round today. The grants, supported by the Dwayne and Edith Llewellyn Legacy Fund and the Cloyd Carlin Charitable Fund, were presented during an event at the Joplin Chamber of Commerce.
That's why I love this job. You know, we're helping people, and I think it's nice that we do this around Christmas time. Towards the end of the year, I think it really does make a difference in the end of the year budgets for a lot of these nonprofits.
The Joplin Regional Community Foundation was founded in 2006. Up next, Ukrainian President Zelensky spent the day in Washington, D.C. yesterday. We'll have more on his plea for more aid. And later, Chucky is here with us, to show us a twist on a sweet charcuterie board. You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14.
I'm not coming out until Casey's has thin crust.
Or this. Well, now you have. Buy one large single-topping pizza, get the second 50% off. Only at Casey's.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. It is 32, my goodness, I'm telling you, it's been a day. It is 7:11. It is 32 degrees in Joplin right now. The time is 7:11. It is not 32 o'clock. That would be an odd one. East breeze at 5, though, does make it feel like 27. As you can see, we got some clouds building in out there. Mostly cloudy skies are going to be the trend for the next few days. 31, Pittsburgh, Lamar, Nevada, Chautauqua, Chanute, Sedan, and Newata. 29 in Yates Center. 28 in Miami, and warmer out to the south and to the east, with the warm spot right now being Cassville, sitting at 39 degrees. So we got a cool start to the day. A little bit chilly for some of us out there for sure. Mostly cloudy skies, but we warm up nicely. into the low 50s as we head into the late morning. Our average highs again this time of year, upper 40s, not near that. We're going upper 50s, maybe even some low 60s out there this afternoon. The light southeast breeze, so despite the clouds, we're still going to be well above average. Cloudy skies continue through the evening and overnight, and we'll drop back down into the upper 30s. So again, above where we should be for this time of year. Our storm system with the rain is going to be stuck out to our west for today and tomorrow. But then as we head into Friday, it finally gets a little kick and starts to roll off to the east. So by late Friday night, we could see a few stray showers, maybe a rumble of thunder or two. No strong or severe storms, and maybe not even that rumble of thunder or two at this point. But still some rain chances on the way, and they'll stick with us through the majority of our Saturday, and expected to clear out late Saturday afternoon. If the system slows down again, though, we could see a few trailing showers into Sunday morning. So above average temperatures, upper 50s today, tomorrow, and Friday. We're going to be average, so a little chillier as we go Saturday and Sunday, and then we go back above average heading into next week. Temperatures climbing back into the upper 50s to near 60 degrees. That's Check a World Watch. Oh my gosh. That is a check of your forecast. Now here's Caitlin with World Watch.
Thanks, Chris. Well, Finland is to reopen 2 border crossings with Russia. Finland will reopen 2 of its border crossings points with Russia Thursday, Finland's Ministry of the Interior announced on Tuesday. The announcement comes after the Nordic country closed all of its border crossings with Russia at the end of November, claiming that hundreds of people were trying to cross into Finland through Russia without a visa. Prime Minister Petteri Orpo said that the decision to reopen the borders was made to see if these attempts to cross into Finland would continue to take place. At least 4 people have been killed in an Israeli strike in the occupied West Bank. The Israeli military confirmed it had conducted the drone strike in the city of Jenin and its refugee camp during a raid on Tuesday. Palestinian officials say dozens of Israeli military vehicles accompanied by bulldozers stormed Jenin at dawn, tearing up the streets and destroying buildings. Israel says IDF troops were operating in the area looking for bombs planted under roads, adding they found weapons, ammunition, explosive devices, and located tunnels. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky was welcomed to the White House by President Biden as his push for more military aid continues. President Zelensky spent the early morning on Capitol Hill speaking to senators about his country's needs. Fox News correspondent Madeline Rivera has more from Washington.
Congress needs to pass a supplemental funding for Ukraine before they give Putin the greatest Christmas gift they can possibly give him.
President Biden sitting side by side with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky in the Oval Office. The Ukrainian leader on a desperate trip to urge Congress to send Ukraine billions of dollars more in military aid.
I just signed another $200 million drawdown from the Department of Defense for Ukraine.
Zelensky spent the morning on Capitol Hill meeting with senators, where the mood was a little more chilly. Some Republicans don't want to give a cent to maintain Ukraine's borders until the White House cracks down on the southern border in the United States.
Our first condition on any national security supplemental spending package is about our own national security.
Zelensky's visit did not do much to sway them, despite his warnings that a failure to help Ukraine would be a boon to dictatorships.
People need to be confident that freedom is secure and strong enough to win.
The cracks in American support could threaten the broad international coalition that President Biden had built for Ukraine.
We've seen what happens when dictators don't pay the price for the damage and the death and destruction they cause.
As the president hosts Zelensky, some GOP members say the president should be spending more time instead talking to them.
The only thing that is really holding this up at this point is the unwillingness of the White House so far to acknowledge that they're going to have to deal with the border component.
The chances of reaching a deal before the end of the year are growing dimmer, which is when the White House had warned Ukraine funding could run out. In Washington, Madeline Rivera, Fox News.
At Erie Federated Church, she has the details on their role in helping families in the community.
Talk to your OBGYN or other healthcare provider about Pfizer's maternal RSV vaccine, Abrysvo.
Welcome back. Join with me today is Chucky Hessong, and we are going to make hot cocoa dip just in time for the holidays.
Yeah, this is kind of a fun little gathering around charcuterie kind of approach.
I love a good charcuterie, but now this is going to be a sweet treat of a charcuterie. So tell us, what is this all based on here?
So I wanted a dip that was kind of hot cocoa-ish, and so I went and I basically mixed together a little container of the marshmallow fluff that you often use for making fudge, a couple of packets of the hot cocoa mix, that already has sugar in it, not like cocoa, but hot cocoa mix.
Yes.
And then a softened block of cream cheese, and it does need to be pretty soft so you can get it nice and smooth, and nobody wants a chunky dip.
Okay, so that's pretty easy. 3 ingredients, and that's what this primary one is.
Yes.
And now we're making things to dip into it.
Your job is to make it pretty. So I did take the bowl, and I melted some some white chocolate, and I dipped the bowl upside down into that, so it has a nice pretty little rim. I know, isn't that cute?
All right, and of course, when there's a charcuterie, you do it just to make it look beautiful. So you get to kind of have fun and get a little creative with it, right?
Right. Well, you're working on that. I've actually been working on our apples already. So I think red and green apples are both, essential for this since it's Christmassy colors.
Wait, you have to tell everyone at home this fun little trick that I learned. So, what is this? This is not your typical water, folks.
No, it's not just water. We're crazy like this. So you cut the apple or the banana, anything that turns brown. It's not pretty on a tray when it's brown.
Pretty.
Nobody's going to eat a brown apple, even if it's not really gross. Nobody wants to eat it. So then you take a little bit of lemon juice, fresh lemon juice, or just the bottle juice works fine. A little bit of water. The proportion's really not important.
Yeah.
And then you dip it in there, and then
it'll stay fresh.
It keeps it from turning brown.
Party.
It's like science in the kitchen.
Science in the kitchen.
I know, it's right.
That's brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. Okay, so now you're also telling me that we want to have some strawberries because health.
You're in charge of making it pretty. I was in charge of making it sort of healthy, considering we have marshmallow fluff.
The amount of time and money people spend on charcuteries. Oh my goodness, the meats, the cheeses, the pretzels, it never ends.
It is, and then people talk about, it's like, oh, I don't know how to do it. There really is, just think about color and shape and texture, and you're pretty well there.
100%, and just filling it out, that's all it is.
Yeah.
And speaking of pretzels, actually, how freaking cute is this? So she took your typical boring little pretzel, dip it in a little bit of icing, little sprinkles on there.
Yeah, so I had the almond bark left over from my bowl dipping, and I was like, oh, you know what? I can make some pretzels for that.
I'm loving it. I am loving it. All right, well, we're going to keep making this pretty, and when we come back, we'll have the final reveal.
Let's do it.
All right, stay tuned. We'll be right back with more after this.
When it comes to working with my clients, I'm not just their lawyer. On the screen, download our contact information, and then save to your contacts in your phone. Aaron Sachs and Associates. We're here for you 24/7.
Welcome back. Well, now we have our final touches on our hot cocoa dip. So, Chucky, we already set this up, so it's a charcuterie-esque type of setup here. And it's beautiful. Look how pretty this is.
It is pretty.
We have strawberries, we have apples, little pretzels, graham crackers, bananas. You name it. Whatever, wafer roll-ups.
Wafer somethings.
So, now for the final touches, you're saying to really add that whole hot cocoa. Tell me, what do you want us to do with this?
Well, I just think, with hot cocoa, you'd have little marshmallows and maybe sell it a little bit with the chocolate syrup. You could put some sprinkles on top, but I felt like I was pretty solid on the sprinkles department, so I left it with that.
Stinking cute.
Yeah.
And then
do some drizzle, and it's good. I like this because it has, fruit. Sometimes at gatherings, you end up with so much rich food, and you're like, I'm sort of sick of eating junk. So I think this is a fun way to get your fruit in. So it's beautiful.
Look at how beautiful this is, and anyone can do it. You can do it with your kids, or
yes, the kids love doing it.
I love it. All right, and so where can people go to get this recipe?
LaughingRoosterEats.com is my website where I do my blog. I'll have a fun little story to tell about it and the recipe there, and I hope I encourage you guys to give it a try.
Good, and this is encouraging because for people like me that don't really feel too comfortable around the kitchen, things like this are easy, they're manageable, and
get
they
you
look nice.
Get you something you feel successful at, and then just do it so you build that confidence. That's my hope for you.
That's what it is, because there's nothing more embarrassing when you're like, oh, here's this pre-cooked thing I got at the grocery store.
I brought a can of pop, right? 2-liter pop. That's my shot. If you're the person
that's my
that
contribution.
Pop,
you know you're not doing it right. Okay, well, I can't wait to test this out. So it's literally just a dipping thing. So it's super easy. You dip it, you sip it, and
ooh, look how good that looks.
Come on, you guys. Oh!
So good, right?
It's amazing.
Yeah, simple.
Perfect.
3 ingredients.
Perfect for the holidays.
Yeah.
All right, Chucky. Well, as always, thank you so much for coming. Thank you. Make sure you check this out at home. This is a really fun, easy holiday recipe. Sure to be a showstopper at any holiday party.
For sure.
All right, well, stick around because we got more news coming up right after this.
We are your family, your neighbors, your friends. We are Kansas. Health insurance enrollment is open now through January 15th.
You're watching the 4 States Most Watched News.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. The time now is 7:29 a.m. I'm Caitlin O'Shaughnessy. They weren't the only ones who went on a toy box shopping spree. A group of 5th grade students on the Student Council at Soaring Heights Elementary School in Joplin joined our very own Chris Warner to pick out some toys. The principal of Soaring Heights says it provides a good lesson for the students.
We love an opportunity to partner with KOAM and bring our students along for the toy box shopping because it's a chance for us to teach our students how to be servant leaders. We really believe at Soaring Heights that we're raising the next generation of leaders for our community in Joplin.
And we want to thank all of our donors for all the amazing donations that came in at yesterday's telethon. Well, the Kiwanis Club in Joplin is continuing the tradition of hosting a luncheon for local elementary schools. 198 kids at Jefferson Elementary School in Joplin received pizza, candy, and winter garments.
It's joy to the kids in our community. It's really all about the children, and to see the smiles on their faces and to feel that love that they have in the community. That's something that they can take home with them and continue to share and spread that in the season of Christmas.
Next Tuesday, the Kiwanis Club will host a luncheon at McKinley Elementary. The Better Business Bureau wants to make sure your holiday travels go scam-free. The BBB has some tips on how to protect you and your family during your holiday travels. Be prepared for cancellations and delays and know the signs of a cancellation scam. Be aware of any advisories or concerns if you plan on traveling internationally, and know how to spot a fake front desk scam and make sure you use Wi-Fi safely. Head over to our website, KOAMnewsnow.com, for more travel safety suggestions from the BBB.
We've got ourselves a mostly cloudy day out there once again. This is a quick look at Skywatch Storm Tracker, so you can see there are going to be those clear spots every so often, so don't be surprised if you do get a moment where it's almost like you're in the eye of the storm. But more clouds will roll in. We're going to zoom out just a wee bit. There's some rain well off to our south and west, and there it is. That's our system. But look at how it's not moving like at all. It's going to take it a couple of days before it does kick into our area heading into late Friday and into Saturday. MoDOT camera, 32nd in range line. There's those mostly cloudy skies out there. And a chilly start to the day, just a wee bit above average. Most of us actually right about where we should be, but that doesn't last. Mostly cloudy skies as we go through today. Temperatures upper 50s, could even see some lower 60s, where our average highs this time of year should be in the upper 40s. We're going to stay above average as we head into the weekend. Then, as I mentioned, we got those rain chances. We're going to look at all that in the full forecast a little later. Caleb?
Thanks, Chris. Erie Federated Church has been giving back to their community for over 2 decades by making Christmas baskets for kids and families in Erie. This year was no different, and some of that they gave is provided through the Toy Box campaign. KOAM's Elise Noe visited the volunteers at the church as they prepared for their distribution day.
Some of Santa's helpers set up shop in Erie, Kansas this Christmas season. Erie's elves and angels come together every year at the Erie Federated Church to make Christmas baskets filled with clothes and toys. They also help feed families with a food donation for a holiday meal.
We have, this year we're serving 75 families. It has been as low as 50 families, as high as 80 or 85 families.
The Erie Elves and Angels spend the week before their distribution date shopping for clothing, wrapping toys, and gathering food. Lori Zickenbein has been coordinating this program for 18 years. It's a task that comes with challenges, but also countless uplifting moments.
And so have really seen the program grow and meet the needs in the community. the opportunity to reach out to the community. You always assume everybody kind of lives your same lifestyle, and as you reach out into the community and you see some of the challenges that these kids and that these families are facing.
Each year, Ziegenbind sees the impact it has on not only the families, but to the group of volunteers as well.
Often the people who do the shopping, the elves and angels as we call them, who do the shopping and who make the deliveries, often receive more emotionally, spiritually, mentally than the recipients.
In Erie, Kansas, Elise Snowy, KOAM News.
27 elves and angels helped hand out the Christmas baskets at the church's distribution day this past weekend to help make Christmas brighter for families. And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. The city of Joplin is looking at some changes to its downtown look. Fernanda Silva will have what that may entail.
Plus, we've been talking about some incoming rain chances this weekend. We'll have another look at your forecast a little later on the KOAM Morning News.
Toyotathon is on. Make your holidays a little more. Come in today.
Get $1,500 finance cash on 2023 Tundra models and $1,000 on 2023 Tundra hybrids. Toyota, let's go places.
Joplin hosted a public meeting yesterday evening to discuss proposed changes to the city's downtown historic design guidelines. KOAM's Fernanda Silva attended the meeting and has the details.
Downtown is a neighborhood. We have people living in the second, third, fourth floors of many of these buildings. We want to make sure that the property owners can continue to market those apartments, that we don't create such a great amount of light that people don't enjoy living in downtown anymore.
Neon signs were the focus of the public meeting to discuss proposed changes to Joplin's downtown historic design guidelines. According to the Joplin city planner, neon signs are currently prohibited in the downtown area. Then you might wonder, but there's some already downtown. Here is what they have to say.
Due to a bureaucratic error, we have one neon sign in downtown. We have one other illuminated sign that was actually there for quite some time, is grandfathered in.
That's the reality. And sometimes things get built without necessarily getting reviewed by the historic review standards.
Now the city wants to make sure some reasonable limitations are put on neon signs. The goal of the meeting was to gather feedback on whether changes in these standards should be made so that neon signs are permitted. For Bill Fisher, a Joplin Historic Preservation Commission member, it is important to respect historic standards while being open to change.
I don't think a Historic Preservation Commission should try to keep things frozen in the past in a sort of unchanging fashion. And so I think it's important that occasionally we have meetings like this where we can update and change some of the standards that we've been using.
For people like Josh Young, graphics manager at Sign Brothers, whose work can be impacted by the changes, the meeting was also a chance to come up with solutions for problems people might point out.
One of the things that I noted was that with light output, if they're worried about light output, then limiting how high the neon sign is kind of counterproductive because the higher up the neon sign is, the more the light dissipates before it gets to the viewing area.
In Joplin, Fernanda Silva, KOAM News.
Besides Joplin Historic Preservation Commission members, city staff and sign companies and other local businesses were part of the conversation. They expect to progress in the conversation and have a definition in February. Coming up, the cost of food is slowing down. We'll have the details on that story.
And we've got a mostly cloudy day and some rain chances on the way. We'll take a look at all that in our forecast when we come back.
I'm Sarah Stickler-McDonald.
Give us a call for all your heating and air needs. That's American Fireplace Company, 909 Rangeline Road, Joplin, Missouri, right next to Justin Boots.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 7:41 now on this Wednesday morning. It is mostly cloudy, as you can see, but you can see there's gaps here and there as well, and that'll be the case for us through the day. 32 in Joplin, east breeze at 5, making it feel like it is 27 degrees. So some of us a little above average, some of us right where we should be. A pretty chilly start. 28 in Iola, 29 Yates Center and Pittsburgh, 31 Chetopa Independence, Chanute, 29 Miami, 35 Neosho, a little warmer, 37 Monette, Cassville, and Bentonville. We're all going to be above average today. We're going to have those mostly cloudy skies, temperatures in the low 50s by late morning. Our highs should be topping out in the upper 40s for this time of year. And we're going to be 10, 12 degrees above that as we go upper 50s, and some of us could even make the low 60s out there at these mostly cloudy skies, light southeast breeze, mostly cloudy through the evening and overnight, and temperatures again above average, this time about 10 degrees above average as we fall back into the upper 30s out there. We looked at the Skywatch Storm Tracker earlier, and you saw some rain out in western portions of Oklahoma and into the Texas Panhandle. And on the radar loop, you saw it also wasn't moving much. By noon today, showers, couple thunderstorms out there. By noon Thursday, as you can see, other than stretching a little further north, the actual system itself really hasn't moved much. It will not really begin to move until we get into Friday. Now it starts to shove off to the east, gets caught up, it starts moving off to the east, and then by late Friday night, we'll start to see a few showers, maybe a rumble of thunder or two, but again, no strong or severe storms out of anything. And as that progresses, we'll go into Saturday morning, more showers out there, and they'll continue through the first half of our Saturday. Now, if the system slows down again, which is a possibility, then these showers will last into, say, very early Sunday morning. If it keeps its speed, which is what this future track model is suggesting, it will be out of here by Saturday evening. So it's not going to be a big deal one way or the other. It just means we may get a little more rain or a little less rain, depending on whether or not it speeds up or slows down. Otherwise, between here and there, temperatures again well above average into the upper 50s heading into Friday. Then for the weekend, between the rain and the clouds, we do get chillier, but we get closer to normal. 50 on Saturday, 46 on Sunday, but it doesn't last. We go right back well above average again as we head into next week. Temperatures climbing upper 50s, maybe even some low 60s out there with a mix of sun and clouds. So it's going to be very mild. This is now the third week of December, and we are starting to stay well above average out there, which I think that means, unfortunately, at some point, winter's going to hit, and it may hit us a little harder than we're hoping. We'll see. That's a quick check of your forecast. We're going to send it over to Caitlin now for Consumer Watch.
Thanks, Chris. 3 popular retailers are pulling a product marketed to children. Amazon, Target, and Walmart have voluntarily stopped selling water beads after lawmakers and public health officials called for a ban on the toys. Water beads are tiny balls made out of extremely absorbent polymer material. They're said to help kids with fine motor skills and counting, but when exposed to liquid, they can expand to 100 times their initial size and weight, according to the Consumer Product Safety Commission. For that reason, experts say the beads are a big health risk for children if digested. And there's good news for your holiday feast this year. Food prices are finally rising slower than inflation. Grocery store prices are up just 1.7% for the year. That's much lower than the overall inflation rate of 3.1%. There are still a few aisles where you'll find exceptions, though. Frozen juice is up 18.6%, and beef and veal prices are up 8.7%. The cost to eat out is also still rising faster than inflation. Due to rising labor costs, restaurant prices are up 5.3%. And Netflix is out with its most transparent data to date about what its viewership is. The report shows what people watch during a 6-month period and will be published twice a year. Streaming services pledge to increase transparency about how many hours certain programs are streamed as part of the Writers Guild of America contract ratified in October. This report covers January to June of this year. Netflix viewers spent the most time watching the following: The Night Agent Season 1 with more than 812 million hours, Ginny and Georgia Season 2 and The Glory Season 1 had more than 660 million hours each. Also, Wednesday Season 1 and Queen Charlotte, A Bridgerton Story had more than 500 million hours each. And that's a look at our top stories for Consumer Watch. We'll be right back with more after this. But first, let's take a look at the market prices before the opening bell.
All right, we want to welcome you to Branson's IMAX
Sunday on Fox. Check for the game in your area.
A Maryland woman is on the move after her recent hip replacement, but this patient isn't like others.
She's 102 years old, and she says she has places to go. Janae Reese reports.
Doris Hill is 102 years old, and her wit and wisdom matches her sassiness.
You can be anyone you want to be, do anything you want to do.
Her husband was a World War II veteran and lived until he was 111 years old. So some would say she knows a thing or two about living a long life.
I had a beautiful childhood, even though I had to walk several miles to school or several miles to church.
But what you don't see is that she recently had a hip replacement surgery.
I've done 2 surgeries on you. 3 total surgeries now. See, her memory's better than mine already.
Dr. Henry Boucher is a clinical hip and knee replacement surgeon at MedStar Union Memorial Hospital. He's worked with Miss Doris for years.
When I meet someone like Mrs. Hill, who's debilitated by a problem that I know I can fix, age becomes less of an issue for me. It's more about how do we improve quality of life.
Dr. Boucher says having a healthy lifestyle and a good support system is what matters most.
Obviously, it's eating well and exercise, but a lot of it has to do with community and family and outlook and attitude.
Ms. Hill says after her surgery, she feels good and grateful.
I have everything I need.
She says her key to living a long life is to not worry about the small things.
Enjoy every moment.
And her message to the next generation.
Find your talent, because I believe everyone has a talent.
Because according to Ms. Hill, age is just a number, but how you live your life is what's key.
I have things to do and places to go. I don't know what I'm going to do, nor do I know where I'm going, but I want to be prepared for that invitation.
That is incredible.
It sure is, Chris.
No, I mean, but seriously, I mean, because any kind of surgery, especially, as you get older like that, it can be dangerous.
Yeah, you're out for a while. Good for her.
So it is impressive. And the fact that she needs a hip replacement means she's still getting around. And like she said, she's got places to go.
Yep, people to see. Good for her.
People see, places to go, things to do, and she's doing them quite well for her age, so good for her. Our temperatures doing quite well for December as we stay quite mild. Another quick look outside from our cameras on top of the Cornell Complex downtown Joplin. You can see that we've got mostly cloudy skies, but there's still some sun getting through. MoDOT camera 32nd in range lines showing some sunlight, showing those clouds, and that's how it's going to be today. There may be a couple of moments where you're going to feel like you're in the eye of a storm when some of these clouds clear briefly and you get fairly clear skies overhead, but it won't take long for more to roll on in. Mostly cloudy skies up in Joplin. You can see clouds off in the distance up in Pittsburgh. Chilly start out there, but this is close to average. 32 in Joplin, 29 in Pittsburgh. And despite this chilly start and despite the clouds, we're going to be well above average today. Temperatures climbing into the upper 50s out there, mostly cloudy skies, light southeast breeze. Some of us could even reach the low 60s across the area today, if you can believe that, for December. We're not done with the warm weather just yet. We'll talk about that, plus our rain chances, and we're going to have the news you need to know right after this.
Hi, it's Ron, the Chief Carpetologist at Tyler's Carpet in Neosho. We are your complete
Vietnam War as a member of the military police. We are proud to salute Maurice Cowan, a four-state hero.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. Authorities arrest a man in connection with a shooting incident at a Pittsburgh bar back in August. Around 3 yesterday afternoon, U.S. Marshals arrested 33-year-old Drummond Allen in Pine Bluff, Arkansas. He was wanted on a felony warrant for first-degree murder in connection with the August 20th shooting death of Justin Krogan. It happened outside Jimmy B's Saloon at 202 Locust in Pittsburgh. Officers arrived on scene to find Krogan, who had been shot. Krogan died from his injuries. An Afton, Oklahoma man pleads guilty to voluntary manslaughter in the death of an infant. Yesterday in federal court, Samson Fry pleaded guilty in connection to the shaking death of his infant son more than 5 years ago. Fry admitted to shaking and dropping his infant son, who fell to the ground in November of 2018. The child later died at the hospital. Authorities dismissed 2 other counts against Fry: first-degree felony murder in Indian country and child neglect in Indian country. A former Missouri state lawmaker is running for lieutenant governor of the Show Me State, and he made the announcement in Joplin. Dr. Rob Onder served in the Missouri State House for 2 years, then later served in the state Senate from 2015 to this year. He says if elected, he'll promote conservative values. Onder will compete with former Missouri House Leader Dean Putcher, State Senator Holly Redger, Franklin County Clerk Tim Baker, and St. Louis businessman Paul Berry III for the Republican nomination.
And we've got ourselves an above average day out there. Temperatures upper 50s, maybe even some low 60s with mostly cloudy skies, light southeast breeze. We're going to go into the upper 30s tonight, so another 10 degrees above average there with those mostly cloudy skies and the light southeast breeze continuing. We stay above average heading into our Thursday and into our Friday. Late Friday, some showers, maybe a rumble of thunder start to roll in. Those continue through Saturday. If the system maintains its speed, it'll be out of here by Saturday evening. If it slows down, it could linger into Sunday morning. We're going to be a little chillier, but closer to average as we go into the weekend. But as we head into the next work week, temperatures go right back above average into the upper 50s, maybe even again some low 60s out there. So some unusually warm December weather for us.
All right. Well, a chase where deputies were going after a suspect in a stolen ambulance in Columbia County on Saturday ended surprisingly.
Dashcam video from the Columbia County Sheriff's Office shows 35-year-old Stanley Williams got inside of an ambulance while being helped and then drove off. Deputies said that Williams was experiencing an altered mental state and possibly under the influence of drugs.
He ended up driving to the entrance of the CCSO Operations Center where the chase stopped. Williams was admitted to a local hospital for further evaluation. Charges pending.
You know, similar case happened in southeast Kansas a few years back.
No way, really?
These folks stole an ambulance and led officers and deputies on a chase. Forgive me, I cannot recall. I think it was Chanute is where this took place, and so
ambulance, huh?
It was a much more serious situation there, but those ambulances can
really cruise, huh?
They can apparently. Well, thank you all so much for letting us put the good in your morning. We will be back with more news and weather today at noon.
Have a great rest of your day.